that I continue year in and year out to work with such fine people in this state. Give all of yourselves a hand. You know, I get around a little bit around this country and around the world, and I'm not just blowing smoke here. I mean this. I've never seen a state where people work together as well without ego and pretense as in the state of Maine. And I thank you all for being a part of that. I just got back from 3 weeks in Korea, and it's all the connections I found, how Korea is connected to the state of Maine when it comes to militarism. So I wanted to share a few of these things with you. About 500 miles south of the Korean peninsula is an island called Jeju Island. It's a pristine environmental jewel. UNESCO has named it one of the world's absolute wonders of nature. They have the most incredible coral reefs off the shore. They have all kinds of endangered shells and fish and coral off that shoreline. And right there in the southern tip of Jeju Island, the United States is now twisting the arm of the South Korean government to get them to build a naval base for Aegis destroyers at this place. Aegis destroyers that are made, as you know, in Bath at Bath Iron Works, that are today being used by the United States to surround China's coastal region, because these Aegis destroyers are outfitted with missile defense system whose job would be to take out China's nuclear retaliatory capability after a U.S. first strike. Now, people say to me, Bruce, you must be getting paranoid. The United States would never launch an illegal first strike attack against a sovereign nation for no reason. We've already done it. But in fact, the United States Space Command annually for the past 10 or 12 years, during the Clinton years, during George Bush years, and now during the Obama years, has been wargaming a first strike attack on China set in the year 2016. Now, I want to tell you that I went to this little village in Jeju Island where they want to build this Navy base. And the people there are absolutely heartbroken. They grow tangerines. It's the #1 industry of Jeju Island. The old women go out and dive off the shore and search the bottom of the ocean for sea urchins and other shellfish that they bring back. They don't use tanks. They just hold their breath. And these are old women in their 60s and 70s and 80 years old. And this area where they do their diving as a way to make an income is going to be where they're going to build this base. Now, those of you that have been north to Pemaquid Point in Maine, you know how those beautiful rocks are out there along the ocean. Well, that's kind of the way it looks there at this place on Jeju. And the plan is to come in and pour concrete right over those rocks to make a pier for these Aegis destroyers to be home ported there at this place. So I promised these people on Jeju Island who have been struggling their hearts out, I promised them that I would come back to the United States and tell people the story, especially the people of Maine, the story about the Aegis destroyers that are going to be plunked down on Jeju Island. I went to another base in Korea called Kunsan Air Force Base, a U.S. Air Force base where F-15 Screaming Eagle fighter planes, they're called, Screaming Eagles, F-15 fighter bombers are based. And I went to the end of the runway where people dry their fish on netting, And these planes are just flying just over our heads, shaking the inside of your body. You can literally feel the organs inside of your body moving around from the incredible sound and exhaust from these F-15 fighter planes.
That's the scariest.
35% of the rabbits on the local farms in the area are sterile as a result of these fighter planes. And now you probably know that in the state of Maine, in the western part of Maine, they want to start flying these F-15 fighter planes at 500 feet above the ground. It's insanity. It's insanity. And then the last thing I want to mention is these damn drones. The Brunswick Naval Air Station is to close soon, as you know. The aerospace industry has created a committee here in the state of Maine. I saw them on one of the local channels, on the local website of one of the channels, a committee meeting broadcast by this television station. And they were frothing at the mouth with excitement about bringing the drone industry to Maine because it's where the money is going, they say. And so, come to find out, drones are made in such a way really to fly in warm weather. And so when they get up too high, where the temperatures get cooler, they start diving down to reestablish contact in warmer weather. And they have a tendency to crash a lot as a result. And so there's a desire to come up with a cold weather testing place for drones. And they've identified Maine and the Brunswick Naval Air Station as the place to do that. Now these drones, as you know, are being flown over Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan. Israel's using them over Gaza. They're being used all over the world these days because it's cheap. You can keep them in the air for almost 24 hours at a time. They're outfitted with Hellfire missiles, with reconnaissance spy technology. And they're an easier way to kill people. As the Pentagon likes to call it, increasing the kill chain. Increasing the kill chain. And so they want to bring that to Maine. They want to bring that to the Brunswick Naval Air Station.
Vacation land!
Peaceworks in the Brunswick Bath area has been organizing against this. Many of you signed on to a recent full-page ad that was bought in the Times Record by Peaceworks. And we're told by the politicians not to worry. That they say there has been no formal application yet submitted, which is a bunch of bureaucratic bullshit. And so we have to begin speaking up all over the state. Now the governor's head of economic development in the state, John Richardson, is rumored to be running for governor. And he's going to be coming around to your community asking for your vote in the Democratic primary. He is, I would say, the chief architect of this proposal to bring the drones to Maine. We need to let him know that this ain't going to happen in our state. In Nevada, in New York, in New Mexico, in Oregon, all over the country. The country is exploding with places that are working on these drones. We've got to say, not only not in our state, but not in our country. The rest of the world combined. And then they say, oh, it's a goddamn shame there's no money for health care and education and fixing our roads and bridges or anything else in this country. We've got to really hone in on this issue of military spending. The president isn't going to change it. Getting the Senate to change it is a damn near impossibility. But all we got to do is get the House of Representatives to begin to say no to these increases in military spending. It's not an easy task. But this is where we have to hone in. This has to be our target. So please, all of you, begin to really find ways in your local community that you can create more dialogue around the military spending issue, around the Afghanistan funding issue, $5 billion a month, another $5 billion a month in Iraq. We've got to cut that military budget before we're ever going to get anywhere. Thank you all very much, and thank you for your hard work.